I know I keep saying I'm going to hunt this on my own, but I have not. I have not hunted this on my own at all since last time. Now, in my defense, I didn't actually have that much time. In fact, it's the reason why I didn't do this yesterday night. Yesterday night, I actually did want to do this, but I was actually quite tired. Yesterday was yesterday was quite rather busy at work. Well, it wasn't busy in the sense like a lot of people came in. No, it was busy in the sense of like there was things to do. A lot of inventory came in. And the process to do inventory, like put the products into the system, it's not hard, but it's tedious. Tedious to the point you just don't want to do it. But I have to do it because that's my job now. And luckily, thankfully, you know, I was alone all day yesterday, so I could do it at my own pace. And do it at my own pace I did. So, yesterday night, I was actually pretty tired. I got into bed at 10 p.m. Now, obviously, I didn't fall asleep right away. I probably laid there for like a good hour or two before actually falling asleep. But regardless, I didn't get back up after I went to bed at 10 p.m. Like, I stayed in bed all the way until 9:30 in the morning. Granted, I got up at like 3 a.m. to pee, but whatever. Like, I got into bed at 10 p.m. yesterday. That's how tired I was. It's like, for God's sake, one honest day's work, and I get that exhausted. Like I said, oops, did I not put it back on screen? Hold on. Not that. Wait, this. Oh, it's too late. It disappeared. No shame in feedings. Wow, didn't even show up on screen. So yeah, yesterday, like one honest day's work, and I get that tired. There it is. You had to type it again. And wow, not a single one. Huh? Okay, let's count that as 2 fleeing. So yeah, I wanted to do this yesterday, but then I was just too tired for whatever reason. You know, yesterday at work for lunch, I actually went to Harvey's for lunch. I don't think... Hold on. Get rid of 2, and then 2 just fled. I don't think I need anything. Oh, wait, no. I can try this. 2, and then 3. So I need 3 to flee after this. Yesterday, I went to Harvey's for lunch. I got the combo, the burger with the fries and the drink. That alone costed me $15. I wanted to go there because Five Guys was $15 just for the burger itself. No fries, no drink. And I guess in a sense this was cheaper because I got the combo. I got the burger, fries, and drink for $15. But like, damn, $15. I remember a time when when a burger combo was like $7. Like, in no world is a burger and fries with a fountain drink justifiably $15. Our world is on the brink of collapse. At least the market is. So, anyways, before we talk about Spider-Man, which I'm sorry it took me so long to talk about the new movie, before we talk about it, there's some quick things to go over. First of all, this collab is coming soon. The McDonald's Hello Kitty and Godzilla collab. I actually want these. Not for the Hello Kitty, but more for the Godzilla side. I'm not gonna lie, I actually kind of want these for the Godzilla side. And then, there was an Avengers Doomsday quote-unquote leak that came out, which I call bullshit that this is a leak. Some pictures were leaked of Doom's witches. And it's like, I call bullshit that these are leaks. Because, like, who the hell took these high-quality pictures and leaked them, right? Who the hell was able to get this close and do, like, professional photography on them? Like, it wasn't just one image. It was, like, multiple angles of these suits. So I don't know how the hell these got leaked, per se. So that's why I call bullshit. I think it's an insider thing, where they, quote-unquote, leaked it themselves. So anyways, let me just show you the image right here. So a lot of people have been saying that these are the characters behind the masks. Doctor Strange, that just makes sense. He has a freaking third eye on top. That just makes sense. The purple one being Clea, I guess, yeah. The green one being Sylvie, I think that's a bit of a stretch. The color scheme makes sense, but why the hell would Sylvie work for Doom? There is a theory about that, though. And then the kind of orangey-brown one, people are saying it's Wanda. The color scheme doesn't match perfectly, but maybe they did that on purpose to throw us off. Now, the question is, why are these characters working for Doom? Or Strange does help him in the comics. Wait, no, that didn't say or. Doctor Strange does help him in the comics. I know. We'll get to that. But, so, people are theorizing, why is Strange and Clea helping Doom? You know, if he wants to bring an end to the multiverse and create his own world. Well, there's a theory that ever since the ending of Multiverse of Madness, where we see Strange and Clea go to another... I think it may have been the Dark Dimension they went to, because an incursion that Strange created. People theorize that since then, they ran into Doom, he put some sort of enchantment or spell on them, and that's why. You know what? I don't think this is even right. No, there's supposed to be 2 more right now, and there's only 1. It could be something like that, or it could be that these are variants of our characters from the Fantastic Four universe, the universe that Doom comes from. I'll be honest, I don't hate either option, as long as it makes sense. So if this is our Doctor Strange, to me at least has to make sense why he's working for Doom. Because if it's a variant, then you don't need any explanations there. But if it's our Strange, we need a damn good explanation why he's siding on Doom's side. If it's Sylvie, same thing. If it's a variant, then you don't need to mention it. You don't need to explain anything. If it's our Sylvie and our Wanda, there is another theory about that, though. The fact that they actually see Doom's vision to destroy the multiverse and only bring in one world. Like, there's a theory that they actually see and understand why Doom is doing all this. Better be a damn good explanation. So we'll just have to wait and see if these characters really are who we theorize them to be. It would kind of explain why these characters are not in the film, or at least not marketed to be in the film. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Elizabeth Olsen actually mentioned that either one of these movies, either Doomsday or Secret Wars, will be the last time she portrays Scarlet Witch. Which, I guess that's fine, you know? Secret Wars is going to reboot. Oh, and real quick, you know that, you know how I've been buying stuff on Amazon a lot lately? And I mentioned I don't have an Amazon account, so I use my sister's. Well, when I bought that Nintendo Switch 2 accessories stuff, which still hasn't arrived yet, the first time I tried to check out, I completely forgot to change cards. Like, change which card to purchase off of. So, when it was saying checkout under my sister's card, it's like, oh shit, that's not right. So let me back out real quick. Now, supposedly the transaction should not have gone through because it was first saying go to your bank app on your phone and confirm this purchase. So because my sister didn't do that, I figured the purchase would not go through. So then I charged it to my card. I did need to go into my bank app and confirm. And yeah, the purchase worked. But then my sister was saying, like, you did the transaction on my cards. Like, how? How? You didn't even confirm on your phone, like on your app. It turns out her Amazon account has a secondary account, like a backup account, because the first method of payment failed. Like, that's a thing? Well, hold on now. Scare 2 and then Scare 3. I don't need this. I already did this. Oops. Didn't mean to hit that. So, currently in Pokemon Go, there is a timed research for a Mewtwo. Damn, catch 10 Pokemon and you get a Master Ball. And you have to do this within the time frame. Also, this Mewtwo is guaranteed to be a hundo, guaranteed to have perfect IVs, and it's going to have a background. It's going to have like an Earth background. And you know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to save this to catch on my birthday. My birthday is 10 days away. I'm going to save this to catch on my birthday. A guarantee Hundo Mewtwo with the background. I'm going to save this to catch on my birthday. See, it's kind of like an apology for what they did in New York for the 10th anniversary. Only select people got an invite to go to Times Square, where they were all given a Hundo Mewtwo. In Master Balls, by the way. So they're just like, alright, we heard your outcry, we'll give everyone else one too. But those who did go to Times Square, those who did attend New York and already got it, you get to get it again, but it won't be a guarantee hundo. At least that's what I've been seeing online. And also, take a look at this. So the other day, because this game is flawless and has no bugs or glitches at all, I put a Rowlet into a... shit, what's it called again? Oh, crap, what was it called again? Showcase, that's it. I put a Rowlet into a showcase, and then my game glitched out and looked like this. For some reason, I had Eternatus as my buddy, and the Rowlet showed up for some reason. Wow, I love that hat! Look at that Eternatus hat my Rowlet got on. It's almost like Kirby inhaled and copied Eternatus, but instead of Kirby, it's Rowlet. I know, no shame in feeding is just waiting for me to get into Spider-Man. And wait longer you shall not, because let's dive right into Spider-Man. I know he's been waiting for this. I know he's been waiting for me to talk about Spider-Man. How many fled just now? I think it was 2. And that's all I have to talk about today. So no Dead City, only Spider-Man. I want to quickly mention that, remember couple weeks ago, I mentioned on the radio, I heard someone saying that this Spider-Man film takes place 4 years after No Way Home. And when I heard that, I'm just like, where'd that info come from? Where did that piece of information come from? That this film takes place 4 years after. Not comes out 4 years after, takes place 4 years after. And watching this film, it's true. This movie really does take place 4 years after. We'll get into that in just a moment. Alright, let me know when you're ready. Is No Shame in Feeding still here, or did he be like, oh, he's not talking about Spider-Man right away? I'll just wait until he does. Until then, I'm a dip. I also began editing another video today. Which, I'll be honest, remember all the shiny legendaries I hunted for Legends Arceus? I didn't even start editing that video yet! At this point, it feels like I was supposed to start editing that video like a year ago. I'll get to editing that at some point, but my life has just been so crazy lately, that video kind of just slipped out. Wait, what? Slipped out of my fingertips. Finish your sentence, man. Instead, what I started editing today was the... Ooh, look, it worked. Now there's 2. Instead, what I started editing today was the alpha video, the entire alpha living dex. You know, it's not a compilation of me catching him. It's just like more of a showcase. I started editing the footage, but I still need to do voiceover. Oh, I don't know why, my eyes are suddenly burning. Oh, you know what? You wanna know what else about today? So today was supposedly some sort of like astral significance. Today had some astral event happen where all the planets in our solar system would line up. All the planets in our solar system would form a straight line, and we should be able to see it. However, today in Canada, or at least here in the Toronto area, it was rainy, it was cloudy, so we couldn't see shit. Once in a lifetime opportunity to see this event, and for my area, we could not see it whatsoever. Wow, thanks, Mother Nature. Oh, what's wrong with my eye? Why is it suddenly burning? There was also an eclipse in EU. Yeah, so we didn't get to see shit. We didn't get to see anything special. And I think the next time something like this will happen is in 300 years. So not in any of our lifetime. Wow, thanks, Mother Nature. You really fucked us over. Oh, well, it's not like I have a telescope. Not like I could have seen it anyways. I'll be honest, I kind of completely forgot it was happening because of today's weather. Oh well, it is what it is. Okay, let's talk about Spider-Man. The thing that you've all been waiting for. You've been drooling over. By the way, I think this film has now become, like, second, if not the highest grossing film box office wise, like first weekend, whatever. This movie alone rivaled Endgame, who previously held the #1 spot. So this is a big film. What were my first impressions of the film? I liked it. I liked it. Do I love it? Yeah, I'd say that. But I don't think I would say this is my favorite Spider-Man film. Like, #1 favorite. It's up there. It's up there. Don't get me wrong. But I don't know if I would put this in, like, #1. You know? I do have a concern about this moving forward, but I'll go over that after the film. Hold on. Let me see. So, 2 fled. I don't think I can do number 31, because there's a stinking Mr. Mime here. I can't get rid of that, so I can't do #1. Wait, what? I can't do number 31. Alright, so, let's begin. Spider-Man, Brand New Day. Alright, so, Peter has been alone being Spider-Man for the past few years with seemingly a brand new AI named Evie. Literally just in the letters E-V. We open the film with him still contemplating the letter he wrote to MJ, which he still keeps in the coffee cup. He watches on his phone Ned's live posts with MJ. We also see he has a blonde neighbor who served no purpose in the film. Maybe they'll write her to be someone else in the future, like Gwen Stacy. Man, I saw a lot of memes about this, like people already saying, maybe she's Gwen Stacy in the future. And then someone replied like, alright, all black characters is Miles Morales. Anyway, so we see Peter just dodge this good-looking neighbor of his. And I saw one message or one thing online as to why. The 2 chicks he's ever loved, that we've seen him love, being Liz and MJ, they were both sisters. So now that a white chick is showing interest, yeah, Peter just dips. I thought that was pretty funny. So, we open the film with a small montage of Spider-Man saving the day. He also buys flowers for Aunt May. He does that throughout the film. So, he fights Scorpion, Tombstone, Boomerang, and the Hand. But let's focus on Scorpion. Michael Mando finally returns after 9 years to play Scorpion. But one complaint I have about the film, he never puts on the mask. It's like, god damn it, movie. What is it with movies' obsessions with never putting the mask on their characters? Except Spider-Man, because he's the only exception. It's mostly villains that they refuse to put the masks on. Look, I get it. You want the actor's complexion to be the character, but like, we want to see the character, not the actor, right? It's like you finally brought him back to be Scorpion, but you never had him wear the mask. And the suit looked so good too, albeit it could have been a little bit brighter green. Looking at the permutation, I don't think there's any more I need to scare off 2. In fact, I need to scare off 3 or 4. Also, I have a concern with Scorpion moving forward, but I'll mention that later on too. If I remember to. Don't forget to remind me. Also, Detective DeWolf is a character in this movie, and I'm not gonna lie, she served very little purpose in the film. So in this opening montage, we see lots of shots ripped straight out of comic panels. Like one-to-one recreations from panels in the comics, which was amazing to see. So by now, Ned and MJ are about to graduate MIT. It's been that long. So many memories. They made so many memories without Peter. Peter does, throughout the film, talk on the phone with DeWolf. She only has his number, but doesn't know who Peter is. So, here's where the film really begins. Peter chases a tank on its way to attack the Damage Control Detention Center building. Damn it, I need at least 3 gone. You know what, let's count that as 3. Also pursuing the tank is Frank Castle in his Punisher van. Only thing is, never once throughout the film is he referred to as the Punisher. He's only called Frank in the film, which, like, fine. I also saw memes about this online, like, yo, I can't wait to see the Punisher's very own TV series he had before appearing in this film. He was so funny in the movie, not knowing the bloody nature of Punisher. Anyways, let me see. So, let's get rid of 3, and then I need to get rid of another 3, but now there's... Oh, never mind, there's still 3. There is this recurring gag throughout the film of something that happened between Peter and Frank at Staten Island, but we never ever get an explanation of that. I mean, if you think about it, it's not the first time they've done this. Remember how long it took for the MCU to pay off Dreykov's daughter? I don't need 2 gone, I need 3! So, the tank crashes into the building, and inside the tank is an old lady. But really, it's someone mind-controlling her, and who can jump into other bodies. Also, at the same time, Scorpion is being transported. Peter is the only one who can follow the body jumper. This person tries to jump into Peter's mind, but cannot. Then the bomb inside the tank goes off, which Peter completely forgot to check the inside of the tank. Peter, he needs help figuring out who the body jumper might be, so he visits Yelena Belova in her office for help. Her office being a pool sauna? Too bad the water is deep blue. Shame it wasn't see-through so we can, you know, see more of Yelena. So Peter undresses also, except for his mask, to join Yelena for a soak. It should have been me, not him! Well, now, after some talking, Yelena knows that Spider-Man keeps to himself, that he's sad and alone, something she can relate to. You know, this is also the scene where we get the meme of small potato stuff, big potato stuff. And you know what? What she's about to deal with in Doomsday, I guess she's not wrong. She is dealing with some big potato stuff in comparison to Peter's small potato stuff. So, Yelena doesn't think it's mind control, like in the Red Room. It's more like possession. Also, Peter toes, too. Like, we get some Peter toes action. So this is the 4th time, the 4th attack on Damage Control this month. So someone is targeting them. Yelena also tells Peter whoever this is looking for something called VMAX. So Peter goes to damage control to ask them himself. Peter is almost attacked for refusing to remove his mask until Bill Metzgar, head of damage control, walks in. They walk and discuss damage control has the hand working for them now. Metzgar explains the hand were nothing but a group of kids with no leader, so he brought them in, seeing opportunity in their threat. Man, that is some Cecil Stedman type of thinking. And you know, this line also made me think about the hand's placement in the MCU now. You know, I thought ever since the Defenders, the hand was no more. It wasn't until the trailers for this movie came out that we saw the hand back. I'm like, okay, the hand did not completely disband. But now with this explanation, the fact that the hand, according to Metzgar, was just a bunch of kids with no leader, that kind of makes me think that the hand really did disband after the Defenders. But it was just a couple of kids, a couple of leftover kids, who wanted to continue the only thing they knew, which was the hand. And all these years later, damage control swooped them up. Damage control also has the Shocker's gauntlets to study. Too bad we never really got to see a proper Shocker in this universe. There we go, all three. So, in Metzgar's office, they discuss the attacks that someone can possess people trying to get in, and Peter vows to protect damage control. He also asks Metzgar about VMAX, and he has no idea what it is. Wait, hold on. Is this right? I see 4 there. So it was... No, it's not right. I was supposed to get rid of... Look at number 33. I should have 3 more, and that's not right. What? I caught you with your light screen up? What the fuck? What? Do you see that? Anyways, so Peter goes to where he buys flowers for Aunt May. And he hears the CEO of Sex walk in, who is now addicted to 5-hour energy. So, Peter follows him to his dorm party. He finds Ned's wall board, where he's trying to figure out the identity of Spider-Man, because he saved him and his friends a few times in high school. Not to expose him, but just to know who Spider-Man is. Ned also created the Spidey Tracker app. He's the CEO. Can you believe they canonized this guy as CEO? You gotta love it. Ned knows Spider-Man is from Queens and narrowed it down to 2 suspects. Flash Thompson and Mr. Harrington. If only he knew Roger Harrington and Bruce Banner crossed paths all the way back in 2008. Also, no Flash Thompson in this film. He was too busy being caught by Robert Pattinson for being a predator. Before Peter can introduce himself, MJ walks in, and he gives the flowers as a housewarming gift. Peter then sees MJ with her new boyfriend, who was definitely not Paul, and Peter leaves heartbroken. Damn, man. I'm not gonna lie, I've been in that position too. Maybe not at a party, but I've been in that position before. Stay strong, brother. So he swings in the rain all the way back to his apartment, thinking about all their moments together. And then he collapses. He dreams about a talk he had with Aunt May, back when she first found out he was Spider-Man. Wearing the suit Tony Stark made him. But the dream is cut off as he wakes up. Also, can you believe this film does not once mention Tony Stark? It's wonderful. It's actually amazing that this film managed to not mention Tony Stark whatsoever. Maybe because we're just about to get more RDJ. So, he wakes up outside in a web cocoon and discovers he now has organic webs. He has to go back inside. He crawls into the laundry basement and grabs the clothes of the blonde neighbor. The tank top that's too small and the juicy sweatpants. I'm gonna count that as all 4 running. So, all 4... I can either get rid of 2, 3, or 4. Well, let's see if there's a Mr. Mime there. Oh, by the way, speaking of Mime Jr., I did a remote lucky trade today. This person hit me up on my friends list. This person, I should rather say, this person on my friends list hit me up on Discord. I don't know who this person is. You know, we, like, raided together once, I guess. I think that's 3. That's 3 running away. So, let's see, that would be... that would be number 36, so I should have 2 more. Yeah, we did a remote lucky trade. Out of all the regionals he had, Mime Jr. was the only one I was missing. He had plenty of Mime Juniors, and he wanted a good IV of stuff that was going to get a Mega in the future, so I traded him a... By the way, this is very much not right, but whatever. I traded him a Purified Starly. He ended up getting a 14, 14, 15, and me, I don't even remember what I got, but it was nowhere close to that. Anyway, so Peter goes back into his apartment, which is now covered in webs. And he missed out on a ton of alerts. So that tells me that he was unconscious for like a couple days, maybe. So the scans show the hormones of the spider side of his DNA are on the rise. Oops, forgot to run away there. How did that one not get scared off? So he tries out his organic webs, but the moment he walks out, his senses get overloaded. Kind of like what we saw with Superman in Man of Steel. He references Peter 2 having organic webs. Awesome, we can now just casually reference Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Yeah, he clearly isn't used to organic webs, even disgusted by them. And at this moment, Scorpion is attacking damage control, so Peter very flimsily swings over. So Spider-Man and Scorpion fight, but it isn't Scorpion. It's whoever is possessing him. Peter does lose control over his arachnid side. His eyes turn black under the suit, and beats the shit out of Scorpion, even flipping over a cop car in the process. He stops Scorpion, but DeWolf tells him to stop because he almost killed a cop. Peter now knows he needs to do something, so he goes and sees Bruce Banner, who is now a physics professor. Despite having his inhibitor, it's still kind of stupid. It's still a pretty stupid idea to have him near so many students for exactly the reason we'll see later on. So one student asks him, not a physics question, but instead asks, why Thanos didn't just make more food resources instead of killing half the population. You can see, pretty funny. Not only have the fans been saying this, but you even see on Peter's face like, oh yeah, why didn't he? Man, as more time goes on, and it's made worse by Marvel's official acknowledgement, more and more flaws of Thanos' plan just shows like, yeah, I don't think Thanos thought it through. He probably just had an idea and just went on impulse. So, and then another student, painted green, goes Hulk smash. After class, Peter talks to Bruce. Bruce makes a Hulk joke and Peter laughs, showing off how fake his friends were back in Age of Ultron. Peter also lies about his name being Ned Leeds. Aw, shit. Peter discreetly asks about DNA suppression going through mutation. But instead of mutation from gamma, could it be for mutation from another reason? Bruce tells him, basically, theoretically, yes, it can work. Although Bruce can sniff out quote-unquote Ned isn't a student of his. Anyway, so Peter tries to create an inhibitor while watching spider molting footage. It's kind of hilarious that, you know, this dude's whole brand and identity is spiders, and yet he's even disgusted by spiders. I mean, can you blame them? Look at the footage of them molting. It's horrific. Even if it is just nature, it's horrific. I'm just trying to de-aggro these guys. Anyway, so he tries his inhibitor, which does work at first, but overheats when he puts a suit on. A fan approaches him, but really, it's the possessor. Whoever the possessor is in Peter's apartment. Knows Peter's identity, found Peter's letter in the coffee cup, and now knows about MJ. You are kidding me, right? Peter has spent the last 4 years trying to erase Peter Parker from existence. There's a confirmation that yes, it is 4 years after No Way Home. And let's think about this real quick. We know Aunt May died in 2024, as seen on her grave, making this 2028. This might take place in between the 14-month time jump in the Thunderbolts post-credit scene. I think that's all 4. So, get rid of 1. Wait, no, catch 1, get rid of 4. Yeah, get rid of 2, 3, or 4. So I think that's when this movie takes place. In between the Thunderbolts, like the majority of the film, and the post-credit scene. It takes place within that 14-month time jump. You know, more evidence pointing to this is the fact that Yelena mentioning the new Avengers. Oops. So the new Avengers have already been established and publicly announced to the world. Anyway, so the possessor is after MJ, and Peter needs to stop this person to protect MJ. And protect MJ, I should say. Peter also has EV, you know, his AI. He also has EV analyze the body hopping pattern. And they realize 33 feet is the limit for the jump radius. Peter also stops the person in a helicopter far away from anyone else. By the way, it's really hard for me to shiny hunt this and go over the film at the same time, so give me some slack. Okay, I guess 2 running away works. Wait, hold on. So, scare 4... No! Well, screw you then. Scare 4, scare 2, and then catch 3. So, Spider-Man goes to MJ's apartment, tells her someone is after her, and swings her away. Thankfully, Ned is away. Wait, hold on, I already forgot. How many do I need to catch now? Wait. 3, I think. Okay, there is 3. Sweet, so this one's done correctly. So they go to a building where they should be safe. MJ begins to figure everything out. I thought I would be far enough that they won't get aggroed. But yeah, MJ figures it out, just like she said she would at the end of No Way Home. Hold on. Okay, that's it. So, nothing here. So that was... that was this one, number 35. So, she begins to figure it out, that they knew each other. Spider-Man saving her and Ned time after time. She unmasks Peter, kisses him. For the first time in years, Peter is happy! Happy that MJ remembers him! But really, MJ is possessed. Man, the first time I watched this, I knew she was possessed because it was too easy. It would have been so cheesy, corny, it was too easy for MJ to just remember everything. So the moment I saw this the first time, I knew she had been possessed. But! How the fuck did she get possessed? Right? Last we saw, whoever this character is, which I'm pretending we don't know, whoever this character is, this person was last in a helicopter very far away from anyone else, and Peter should have swung MJ very far away. So, like, how? And according to later in the film, she was already possessed by the time he got to MJ in her apartment. So, like, wait a second. Right? Like, that kind of doesn't work out. Oh, whatever. Moving on. Should I count that? No, I'm not going to count that. Mind control can reset to the controller's location. We see it in flashback later. I need to think about what you just said there. Anyway, so MJ falls, so Peter has to jump and save her. We don't want another Gwen Stacy moment to happen. So a possessed man approaches Peter, giving him back his letter to MJ. Then the man drives whoever the possessor is to Empire State University. They can basically restart the jump chain. Oh, I guess you're right, because she could have just, or this person could have just, like, jumped out of the dude's body in the hell. Why am I catching? Shit, I just fucked that up. Oh, whatever, let's just go for it. Maybe maybe something I do wrong in this pattern will yield me luck. Yeah, I guess she could have just reset. Anyway, so yeah. Peter does manage to scan the face of the real culprit. So for now, Peter needs to take MJ to a secret, safe place. He takes her to a harbor dock, which is super booby-trapped. It's Frank's current place of residence. He probably needed to lay low after his encounter with Ma Nucci. Is that it? That is it. They argue over what happened at Staten Island and how Frank owes Spider-Man this favor. So Frank agrees to protect MJ. Peter manages to identify the telepath as Jean Elaine Grey. Gee, who could have guessed? This is probably like one of the worst kept secrets in Hollywood history. You know, there's a video going around of Sadie Sink denying playing Jean Grey for dear life. It is hilarious. So yes, this is indeed Jean Grey. Oh my god, what a shocker. Nobody could have guessed. Nobody knew beforehand. Nobody knew this before the film. Good job, Marvel. You kept it a secret. Well tight. What? So now we know the identity of the body jumper, the possessor, Jean Grey. So Frank, who by the way, Jean Grey looks more like MJ than MJ actually does. Like, can you believe that? They actually casted a white redhead. Like, can you believe that? Now, you don't need me to tell you Hollywood's history this past decade of turning pretty much any white redhead character black. For God's sake, they actually did that with MJ. But I think if they actually did that for Jean Grey, I think they know there would be immense backlash. So thank God they casted someone who's actually fits the role for the character. I'm sure I don't need to tell you this, but there's also a video of the Stranger Things cast crying that they're about to be out of a job because the show was ending. And then you just see Sadie Sink smiling because she knows that she has Jean Grey coming up, that she has like a decade of work coming up. So, Frank asks, after he finds her, what then? Peter just says, don't worry about it. Just protect MJ, and I'll figure it out after I fix my inhibitor. And Frank, hilariously enough, happens to have all Peter needs to fix his inhibitor, because he uses it to make bombs. Okay, 3 fled. 3 fled, so I need 2... Wait, no, I need 3 or 4. So I need 3, because I think there's going to be another Mr. Mime there. So Peter unmasks himself to work, while MJ is on the other side of a tarp. They talk a bit. Damn it, I need all 3 of you gone, not 2. Anyway, so they talk. Nobody cares. MJ realizes the inhibitor overheats because it's on his neck, close to his gadget-filled mask. She fixes it and his inhibitor works now. So, Peter has a plan. Now that he knows the inhibitor works, Peter has a plan to put an inhibitor on Jean so she can stop body jumping. No big deal, Peter just casually made a mutant disabler. No big deal. It's not like we're going into a mutant heavy saga after this. Pandora's box has been opened. Peter... Oh shit, one disappeared. Peter is about to become public enemy number 1 to the X-Men. Anyway, so Frank points out that he would not be wearing a mask, hiding from everyone if his loved ones were still alive. He pretty much told Spider-Man to his masked face, "Look, kid, you like this girl? She's breathing right in front of you, and you're not doing shit about it." In a way, he's not wrong. We know the Punisher's story. And it does kind of make me question, does Peter even know it? Surely, with how, how thorough Peter has become, I'm sure he would know. So, Jean Grey has been spotted, so Spider-Man has to go. And MJ convinces Frank that he might need his help, just like he needed his help on Staten Island. I hope we get something to explain this one day. By the way, did you guys see that Tom Holland wants to, quote, return the favor? So he got Punisher in his movie. He wants to return the favor and have Spider-Man show up in like a TV project, right? And yes, we want that too. No stupid contract bullshit that Sony has in place that Spider-Man cannot show up on TV shows. No! Do it! We want it! Also, it's not a spoiler to say Daredevil is not in this film. Isn't that nuts? We got Punisher in a Spider-Man film before Daredevil. Isn't that nuts? Charlie Cox wasn't lying when he said he wasn't in this film. Damn! What a shame. Like, we want to see Spider-Man and Daredevil team up to fight Kingpin. It's not hard, people! Sony? Anyways, moving on. Peter swings to damage control where Jean has already trashed the building. Metzgar is locked in a safe room with some of his men. Jean can't get into Peter's mind to stop him from getting in her way, so she instead tosses him Bruce's inhibitor. She has control over the hideous CGI Professor Hulk. Oh, by the way, remember that Bruce has a son? No? Yeah, me neither. They don't even acknowledge his son in this film. And you know what? Thank God for that. Because his son, his design was more hideous. Let's count that as 3. Spider-Man and Smart Hulk fight for a bit, but Jean can't keep control of the Hulk for long. That's when Frank shows up and helps by shooting the Hulk. All that's gonna do. He does throw a sonic grenade and shoots it at the Hulk, severing Jean's connection to Bruce. Okay, that's another 3 running. What did I need again? I had 3 and I had... So this is another 3 running. So if this is correct, I should have 3 more to catch. Alright, so Jean's connection to Bruce has been severed, but in doing so, Bruce is no longer... Wait, Bruce is aggravated with no inhibitor. This isn't correct. Peter will stop the Hulk, while Frank goes after Jean. At least Frank knows he's no match against the Hulk, which is hilariously very much the case. Get back here, you. So Peter plans to use the inhibitor on Hulk first, then Jean. So they split up to fight their own foes. Frank immediately gets possessed by Jean. And first thing she says is, "This guy's got issues." Well, that was a funny joke. She didn't say that about Peter? Well, she hasn't gotten into Peter's mind yet. And, you know, it's almost like, no shit, this guy's got issues. His entire family was murdered right in front of him! Maybe Jean doesn't know Punisher either, which is kind of hard to believe since Punisher has been on the news lately. We saw that with his special! One last kill. Nothing here. So, Jean uses Frank to gather his grenades to blow open the vault to get her VMAX Pokemon cards. Bruce turns into the Hulk again. The real Hulk. Savage Hulk. And he looks bigger than he looks bigger than when we last saw him. So Hulk fights Spider-Man, and it is glorious to watch. Peter picks up the Shocker's gauntlet. The fight goes outside the building. The inhibitor can't connect to Hulk's thick skin. Peter tries to use the Shocker's gauntlet, but Hulk just shrugs it off. And Peter, or rather I should say, Spider-Man somehow manages to calm the Hulk down by saying it's his friend, Peter. Now, this should not have worked, for many reasons. One, Bruce doesn't know that quote-unquote Ned, the kid he met earlier, is under the suit. Two, only time Bruce would have met Peter is at Tony Stark's funeral, which that memory should be erased by now. Three, Hulk never met Spider-Man or Peter before. So, this calming down the Hulk should not have worked whatsoever. Anyway, so the Hulk falls off the building with tons of building rubble webbed to him. And bad timing is bad timing. Jean's explosion goes off as well. Jean hints that she's looking for a person named Sarah. Peter sneaks attack the inhibitor onto Jean, and Metzgar tranquilizes her. So, the fight is over. We see Bruce is being taken by an ambulance. That's the last time we see him in the film. And, let's take a pause real quick, because I'm afraid this might be the last time we see the Hulk. Like, the Savage Hulk, the proper Hulk. I'm afraid this might be the last time we see at least Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. Unless he's in Secret Wars, which as of this moment, we do not know yet. If he is not in Secret Wars, this might be the last time we see Bruce Banner's Savage Hulk. Mark Ruffalo's Savage Hulk. Because think about this for a second. Not only is Secret Wars going to reboot the universe, which we are probably going to get a new Hulk actor since Mark Ruffalo's getting old. But you also have to think about the character too. Bruce Banner has spent the better part of a decade successfully suppressing Savage Hulk. Think, the last time we saw Savage Hulk was when he got his ass beat by Thanos at the beginning of Infinity War. Infinity War took place in 2018. This movie takes place in 2028. It has been 10 years since Bruce turned into Savage Hulk. And, you know, Bruce felt happy again. Bruce was comfortable living again. But he still had that slight fear in the back of his head if he were to ever lose his inhibitor and go crazy again. Now, exactly that has happened. Bruce lost control and became the Hulk again. I don't think Bruce is going to let this slide. He had such a long, successful streak of no incidences. I don't think Bruce is ever going to allow himself to turn into the Hulk again. Unless the Avengers approach him saying, yo, the multiverse is gone, we need the Hulk. Like, we desperately need the Hulk. Unless that happens, I don't think Bruce will ever allow himself to turn into any Hulk again. I'm not saying he'll kill himself, I'm thinking more like he'll put some sort of inhibitor inside him in a way that it cannot be removed. Which is why I thought it was pretty stupid to allow someone like Bruce Banner to teach a room full of students, because very easily someone who can control his mind could just rip off that inhibitor. I mean, did we forget how easily Scarlet Witch controlled him back in Age of Ultron? So yeah, if anything, I'm surprised Bruce hasn't already put some sort of inhibitor inside his body. Thus, it cannot be removed. Anyway, so I'm afraid this might truly be the last time we ever see at least Mark Ruffalo's Savage Hulk. Not only will the character probably be recast after Secret Wars, I don't think in-universe Bruce would ever allow this to happen again. Anyways, so back to the film. Metzgar explains Sarah was someone he closely worked with who passed away recently. And somehow when Jean controlled his mind, somehow she got those memories too. I totally buy that. You know, I totally didn't sniff out that this was a lie the first time I watched the film. Oops, was I supposed to not quick travel there? Yeah, I wasn't supposed to. I already got 3 and then 2. At least I think this is what's happening. I don't remember anymore. Oh well, let's just see this one through. Anyway, so he says Jean will be sent to their Roosevelt facility. So Peter swings back to MJ where she found and read the letter. I'm sure you've all seen this meme where, while Peter was getting his ass kicked by Hulk, MJ was currently like that dude from Ratatouille reading the letter. Why is that such perfection? That meme right there. Anyway, so Peter is now forced to unmask and explain everything. MJ recognizes Peter from the donut shop and Ned's party. Oh, whatever. There wasn't anything here anyways. Peter explains he lost someone close to him, and it was his fault. He didn't want the same thing to happen to MJ. Peter expresses his feelings. He tells MJ he loves her. But he gets hit with, "I don't love you," because she has no memory of them together. But to make things worse, she needs him to swing her back home. I saw people saying this online. Yo, just pull a Peter Parker. Tell the person you like, we were together once, but you just had your memory erased. You see, folks, only similarity would be, I too will be told, I don't love you. Pull a Peter Parker, dumbass. We'll get the same answer. We too will be told, I don't love you. You know, if you think about it, Tom Holland had to watch his own wife tell him she does not love him. Now, yes, it was acting, but I'm sure Tom acted as if that was real, thus selling Peter Parker's emotion all the more. So anyways, so Peter swings MJ back to where she lives. It almost looks like... No, I'm not gonna risk it. Damn, I should have risked it. It almost looked like all 4 was moving, but I didn't risk it. So, MJ actually offers him to come up with her, where Ned's app tells him that Spider-Man is right in front of him. Spider-Man, Ned, and MJ hang out just like old times. MJ even drew a picture of the two best friends happy again. She thinks he should tell Ned. Okay, let's say that's 3. Peter tells MJ they kissed when Jean was inhabiting her. I personally would not have told her, but good thing he did, because MJ says she doesn't remember anything while being possessed. This tells Peter that Metzgar lied about remembering Sarah while he was being possessed. No, I don't need another 3, or do I? So it was 3, another 3. I do need another 3. Anyway, so he calls Yelena, who is still in her hot, steamy office, to look up if Jean and Sarah are connected. And they are. They're sisters, and Damage Control took Sarah for experimentations. Now Spider-Man needs to save... Wait, hold on. Well, I'm not supposed to... I don't know what I'm doing anymore. There was supposed to be 3 for me to catch here, but I guess not. Oh yeah, this was way wrong. What? Hey! Oh, that's why. I thought I was using Ultra Balls. Anyway, so Spider-Man needs to save Jean, and MJ just blurts out his name being Peter in front of Ned. Wow, you just proved why he didn't tell you his identity all these years. So Jean has a dream back to her and Sarah in the park practicing their powers. Sarah was about to go get them free ice cream after demonstrating how they could master their powers. And that's when Damage Control comes and snatches up Sarah. She used her powers to forcefully get Jean away to save her. And that's why Jean has been so adamant in attacking the Damage Control building to get her sister back. Anyway, so Metzgar plans to forcefully study Jean's powers to transfer it to somebody else. While Peter is on his way, Frank calls Spider-Man because he knows where he is and what he's doing, thanks to the Spidey Tracker app. Frank does not want Jean freed, knowing what she can do. So he is also on his way with a plan to kill her. Tests are running on Jean. She knows Sarah was here in this room thanks to her hair tie. So Spider-Man arrives at Damage Control and gets met with hostile soldiers. So he stretches before they fight. And for some reason, the armed guys don't immediately shoot him. Jean finally figures out what VMAX is, and even why Metzgar didn't know himself. She looks up and sees an air vent labeled Vent Max. Only the ENT is covered by some tape, so it says VMAX. Damn, Metzgar wasn't hiding a huge stash of VMAX Pokemon cards in his vault. So Jean now fills with rage and grief that this room being the last thing her sister saw alive, she overpowers the room and her abilities evolve, mutates in real time. Is that thing still behind me? It is. She makes this psychic perimeter around Roosevelt Island so Frank can't get any closer. He goes onto a rooftop and prepares his sniper. So, Jean controls the entire hand to fight Spider-Man. Hold on, I feel a sneeze. And soldiers with weapons that can stop his webs. Peter does get his ass beat a little bit. He removes his mask and his inhibitor. Excuse me. And lets the arachnid side out to fight the hand. I wonder how Daredevil feels about the hand still being around and working for damage control. Peter finally, after defeating the hand, Peter goes into the room where Jean has Medscar on the brink of death. Peter allows Jean into his mind, where she sees and receives the full, warm, loving conversation with Aunt May. God damn this. You son of a bitch, Mr. Mime. Peter helps Jean understand they don't need to do this alone after losing someone. And we get a beautiful moment where Jean says she has no one, and Peter says, "You have me," ruined by Frank. Damn it, man! You ruined the potential of Spider-Man, brand new girlfriend. Man, I'm not the only one. The internet completely began shipping Peter with Jean, saying they have better chemistry than he ever did with MJ. Hell, she looks more like MJ! I'm gonna say that's 3. That looked like 3. Yeah, so this potentially beautiful moment got ruined thanks to Frank's sniper shot. Peter's spider senses, which has been absent for the entire film, warns him of it, so he takes the shot for Jean. I don't need... so 3, and I don't need 2. No, I need 3. So Peter collapses, Frank realizes what he's done, and Jean, she tries to help. Frank carries Spider-Man to a hospital where he is in critical condition. And supposedly there's a deleted scene where Claire Temple was inside, was the reason his identity was safe inside the hospital. I don't know how true that is. I don't think I did this one right. Also, I'm pretty concerned now that Medscar might know Peter's identity. If he didn't turn his head to see his face, he had to have heard Jean say Peter's name out loud. Remember, this is when he's not controlled by Jean anymore. He wasn't possessed by her to begin with, so his memories should be intact. Also, a pool of Spider-Man's mutated blood in the damage control building can't be a good thing. Well, we'll just have to wait and see if this ever gets followed up on in a future film. Jean controlled Peter's body to have him breathe the whole time until he was able to wake up. I can't imagine that was easy. We don't know how long Peter was in surgery for, how long he was out afterwards. So imagine having to control his body that entire time in order to help him breathe and stay alive. So Peter wakes up Frank is beside Peter's bed as he wakes up in the hospital. Frank apologizes for shooting him, almost cries. And they both have a good laugh at the fact Peter got to see Frank cry. But now Frank has seen Spider-Man's face, and they are friends now. Peter gets up and sees a rally of Spider-Man supporters outside. Frank has a plan to get Peter out. So Peter just casually walks out the hospital, while Frank in the window wears Spider-Man's mask to distract the crowd. Peter embraces just how loved he is by the people of New York. A kid smiles at Peter, and he does a thwip motion back. Imagine if he accidentally shot some organic webs there. I saw some people say online that this was Jean possessing the kid to say one last goodbye to Peter. It might be, it might not be. So by now we're nearing the end of the film. Or we're damn near at the end of the film. Peter sits on top of a building, drinking his coffee, looking out at the sunset. MJ sits on the roof of her high school, contemplating she just fumbled Spider-Man. Like, good job. You fumbled fucking Spider-Man. Jean is on the bus, leaving. We don't know to where, but let's face it. After the reboot, it's probably going to be revealed she left and went to the school that is owned by Charles Xavier. Peter talks to Aunt May's grave, telling her he won't be doing this alone anymore. Also, Aunt May was 60 years old in the MCU. Like, damn. I know I'm not the only one who thinks she looked good for 60 years old. Yo, am I just crazy? Like, why can't I ever find the sauce with older women who look this good? Peter and DeWolf call. She met up with Black Widow at her office. Her skin feels fantastic. She's been helping them dig through Damage Control's files. Also, Metzgar is missing. He's on the run. Like I said, we'll have to see if he knows Peter's identity moving forward. Yeah, I don't know how many that is. A bank robbery is underway, and Peter decides to sit this one out. To rest a bit. He goes buy flowers again for Aunt May. I don't know where he gets all this money from. You know, we don't exactly see Peter with a job in this film. Like a paying job. So I don't know where he's getting all this money from. I also saw this online. I saw someone ask, when is Peter going to take pictures of himself as Spider-Man to sell? And someone replied like, who is he going to sell it to? Now that the internet is a thing. And you know, that is a casualty of just time moving forward. The Daily Bugle selling newspapers just isn't a thing anymore. It's a bit of a shame. And yeah, there's no J. Jonah Jameson in this film either. I suppose in this film, Spider-Man had enough depression without someone hating on him, like J. Jonah. So, while he goes and buys flowers for Aunt May, he sees Ned just sitting there. So he decides to introduce himself as Peter. He daps up his homeboy, does their handshake, and Ned remembers Peter. Man, I saw so many comments on this online. The girl he loves remembers him. He gets hit with, I don't love you. He daps up his homie once, and he instantly remembers him. Yo, it's really bros before hoes out here, y'all. So, the end credits roll, and I'm not kidding. My theater started applauding like a bunch of white people. So, the post-credit scene shows the Spidey Tracker app detecting Spider-Man far in space, far away from Earth. This could either mean Battle World for Secret Wars, or a Spider-Man variant showed up. There you go, Spider-Man Brand New Day. I like this film. I did. Wait, hold on a second. I think that was 3 and then 3. Which I don't think that's the case, because maybe this is 34, but I'm not going to mark it off, because there's 2 now. So, I like this film. But, let me go over a couple of concerns I have regarding some characters moving forward. Alright, first up, Scorpion. Scorpion was barely in this film. It's great that we got to see him, but he was barely in this film. He wasn't the main antagonist. There wasn't really a main villain in this movie. You could argue it's Jean, you could argue it's Metzgar, but, like, there's no main villain in this movie. Not in the sense of, like, Vulture, Green Goblin, Doc Ock. Like, there's no main villain in this film. So I'm kind of concerned about ever seeing Scorpion back, because think about this for a moment. And I'm not saying because they've never done this, they can't ever do it, but if you think about it, when have we ever gotten, like, a suited up Spider-Man villain with this much presence in a film to return and be the main villain of the next film, right? This isn't like Harry Osborn, who was in all 3 films, and then he became one of the villains in the 3rd film. No, he never suited up in the first 2 Sam Raimi films. Scorpion actually was suited up in this film. He wasn't the main villain, but he was a villain in this film. Are we ever going to see Scorpion return as a main villain? Or do you think Marvel is more likely to have another main antagonist, right? So that they can sell more toys and merch. I think the chances of us getting Scorpion as a fully fledged out villain in the future is even more slim now. Now that we've gotten him in this film suited up, I don't think our chances of seeing Scorpion return in a major role, I don't think the chances of that happening are any good. In fact, it's worse than before. Maybe, arguably. It might not be... Okay, maybe I misspoke. It may not be worse than before, but you know what I'm trying to say. I don't think we're going to get Scorpion back as a main villain anytime soon. Hey, prove me wrong. I'd love to be proven wrong, because we criminally did not get enough Scorpion in this film. All in favor of Jean Grey, huh? We could, however, get Tombstone in the future. Imagine a street-level gang war between Tombstone and Kingpin, a team-up film with Daredevil. Beautiful concept. Will they actually execute it, though? Nope. Probably not. Yo, if you think about it, this film making like $2 billion the first weekend, imagine a Spider-Man and Daredevil team-up movie. How much that'll make opening weekend. I'm just saying, Sony. So, that's my concern with Scorpion. I also have a concern with Spider-Man himself, because I haven't acknowledged the suit yet. It's beautiful. It almost brings a tear to my eye. The Spider-Man suit in this film is pretty much perfection. Like, it's practical. It's not CGI. It is comic accurate as hell. Like, this suit is beautiful. It's perfect. But will we get the suit moving forward? I kind of doubt it. Because you know, they love changing suits every movie for merch, for money. So, how can you improve on a suit that is already perfection? Yeah, sure, they could do minor tweaks, like the spider logo on the back being more comic accurate, but like, nobody cares, right? That's not significant enough to sell toys. So, what are they gonna do in terms of a Spider-Man suit for the next film? I have an idea. Although, I'll be one to say this idea isn't as marketable. Just have him wear a different suit. No shit. But what I mean by that is a suit that is not the iconic suit. Right? When they did the red and black suit, sure, that was different, but that was still damn near the same suit. Right? It was still close enough. I'm talking a full-blown different suit. What suit do I have in mind? Well, if they're going this hard on the comic-accurate suit, I would love to see a comic-accurate Iron Spider suit. And imagine if a comic-accurate Iron Spider suit is the main suit for the next film. This is just me throwing ideas out of my ass, since the next film is going to take place long after Secret Wars, so the next film will probably be the symbiote suit, but let's not touch on that right now. Let's just say, if it's not the symbiote suit, and what suit could they use for the next film? Like I said, they can't exactly do too much to improve on perfection with the suit in this film. This is what I would like to see. The next suit, the next main suit for the whole film be a comic-accurate Iron Spider suit. Now, we would be taking a step backwards, right? Because we have a beautiful practical suit now. If we go back to the Iron Spider suit, it would be fully CGI. So we would be going backwards. But like, I want to see a comic-accurate Iron Spider suit. I mean, also think about it. The Iron Spider suit we already got was Tony Stark's design. Now that Peter's on his own, he could make his own Iron Spider suit, but make it with his own design, which is a comic-accurate design, the red and gold. So that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping the next Spider-Man film will be primarily comic-accurate Iron Spider suit. Now, I know. I thought dude was broke. I'm sure he'll find a way. But I don't know, dude has a Z-flip. Like I said, I don't know where he gets all this money to keep on buying flowers. Flowers ain't cheap. And all that equipment he has? Yeah, that stuff's not cheap either. And what about rent? He also owns a treadmill. So yeah, that's what I'm hoping. Next film will be primarily comic-accurate Iron Spider suit. Now, I know that's not going to be as marketable because the Iron Spider's not as not as iconic as the red and blue comic suit. I know. So it'll be hard for them to make as much money if they were to do that. Asbestos discount. So yeah, what do you think? If not about my Iron Spider idea, what do you think the next film will be like? Because you know they're going to change suits for the merch sales. But they can't exactly improve on this suit too much because it's already pretty much perfection. So that's my idea. Next film should have a drastically different suit, but a comic-accurate suit. Yeah, I know. It's probably going to be the symbiote. Damn it, I just want to see the live-action, comic-accurate Iron Spider, okay? I liked what we got. The Iron Spider suit we got, I liked it for what it was. But for what it was meant to be, I hate it. Comparing it to the comic-accurate Iron Spider, I hate it. It looks nothing like it. But for what it is, I do like its design. Does that make sense? Anyway, so... yeah. Also, it's already been announced that they're not going to make another Spider-Man film for a while. Because I think Destin Daniel Cretton is going to work on a live-action Naruto project. And everyone online is saying, man, fuck Naruto, we don't care about that. Anyway, so there's my concerns for those characters. Next character concern. MJ. Now, I was already concerned about this character going into this film. After No Way Home, after Peter had Ned and MJ erase their the real swing was amazing. It sure was. After Peter had his friends forget him, the old director had no idea what he was doing. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that about John Watts. I think he may have lost the plot a bit for Far From Home, because that film, that just wasn't it, Chief. I still hate what he did with Mysterio. It was just a dude in a mocap suit. I hate that. Oh yeah, for CGI versus practical. If you meant that for John Watts, then yeah. You know, in No Way Home, all the gold on his suit was CGI. All of it. Anyway, so. Yeah, my concern with MJ, what the hell are they going to do with her moving forward? I already thought it was a concern for her to be back in this film. When Ned and MJ had their memories erased and Peter chose not to tell them again, I thought, okay, he's moving on. He's going to let them go for their own safety. He's going to meet new characters. Bullshit. They were still prominent in this film. But this is MJ we're talking about. At least this depiction of MJ. She's not Mary Jane, she's Michelle Jones for literally no reason. Like, if you're not going to cast someone who looks like Mary Jane, at least give her the name. Don't change her into Michelle Jones for no reason. Anyway, so like, they hinted at the end of this film that maybe MJ is going to reconsider Peter Parker. But it's like, god damn it, we are not moving forward whatsoever. And it's a bit of a shame to say that because this is Peter Parker and MJ. This should be, you know, this should be the end game that we always go to. But like, damn, it just doesn't feel the case for these characters. I really feel like if they just simply named her Mary Jane and not Michelle Jones, I would not feel this way as much. Alright, next character concern. Ned. Yes, it's great that he remembers Peter, but this kind of screws up any ideas for Ned becoming Hobgoblin. Unless it doesn't, I don't know. Maybe Ned will slowly grow to resent Peter, like, why the fuck didn't you tell me all these years? I hate you. I want to kill you now. But like, damn. If Peter and Ned's friendship gets rekindled, scrap any hope and ideas for Hobgoblin. And you know, I would have loved to see Hobgoblin. Have the CEO himself slim down, get in shape. Like, it would have been such a tragic story, but it's not like we haven't seen it before. It's not like we haven't seen the other two Spider-Mans, their best friends turn on them, right? This time, it would be even more heartbreaking because it feels more genuine. Toby and Andrew's version of Peter, neither of them really felt that close to Harry Osborn. But this Peter does feel close with Ned, so it would just sting that much harder. Well, I'm saying this, but none of it's ever going to happen, because it seems like we're never going to get Hobgoblin. Shame. And you know, this depiction of Peter Parker feels a little bit off without some of his more iconic villains. Which, not gonna lie, No Way Home kind of screwed up. Because now, if a Norman Osborn or an Otto Octavius ever shows up, Peter is gonna be like, oh shit, I think I know where these guys are going towards. Right? But it still doesn't feel right that this Peter Parker has no Norman Osborn, no Otto Octavius. We know that in No Way Home, when Norman showed up here, he said that this world has no Oscorp. I heard this theory, though. Now that Bill Metzgar is on the run, no one's in charge of damage control anymore. What if a Norman Osborn swoops in and takes over damage control, slowly turning it into Oscorp? Now, I hope we do not get a black Norman Osborn. No offense. But, like, please don't. I know Coleman Domingo voices him in Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, but I don't want to see him play Norman Osborn, please. I mean, Lonnie Lincoln was black in that show, but he's clearly not black in this film. So, like, come on. Please. I beg you, properly cast the characters, please. So anyways, while this film was amazing, it was spectacular. For what it is, it's great, but I do have a lot of concerns moving forward, you know? There's a lot of characters I have concerns over moving forward. Now, this film also does not explain why Peter is seemingly absent in Doomsday. You know, when we got Ant-Man and the Wasp, we see that Scott was kind of busy during the events of Infinity War. But this film, it's like, it kind of clearly takes place before Doomsday. I don't know, maybe by the events of Avengers Doomsday, Peter's still recovering from his gunshot wound, and that's why he's not around. But he should be in Secret Wars. You know, it's like, what do you mean Tom Holland didn't film 3 movies back-to-back? Spider-Man and both Avengers films. What do you mean he didn't film 3 movies back-to-back? So, tell me what you thought of Spider-Man Brand New Day. I'm not gonna lie, I did kind of feel like the pacing was a little bit off for the film, even though I enjoyed it. It did feel a little bit slow at times for me. Just a little bit. We also got a lot less bickering between Peter and Frank in this film, which is actually crazy to say. I was kind of thinking there would be more arguments like, you know, how Frank usually just kills everyone and Peter is against killing. I kind of thought there would be more arguments between that. Guess not. Oh, I also saw this online. At the end of the movie in the hospital, Peter and Frank have a good laugh together. Like, he actually is able to make the Punisher smile and feel alive again. People online were pointing out Matt Murdock could never. Matt Murdock could never make the Punisher even smile. And everyone's just like, you think Matt Murdock was even trying? Matt Murdock does not like the Punisher the way Spider-Man likes him. And the Punisher does not like Daredevil the way he likes Spider-Man. Yo, we need a Spider-Man team-up with Daredevil. Preferably Punisher too. Get all three on screen together. Pretty please. Oh, also, after this film came out, there were a bunch of brand new, officially released Spider-Man posters that came out for all 4 of the film franchises. The Tobey Maguire films, the Andrew Garfield films, the Tom Holland films, and the Into the Spider-Verse films. We got brand new posters for them. Pretty cool. So, let's wait until D23 happens, I think, like, next week, to see what big announcement Marvel has. You know, there are reports and just pattern recognitions that Marvel is seemingly going to completely abandon Disney Plus, as in, like, making Disney Plus shows, except for a couple exceptions, you know, like Daredevil, like Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, X-Men 97. Aside from Vision Quest, which is the last project down the pipeline to be shitted out, it seems like Marvel is done making TV shows besides Daredevil. Like, in terms of live action, besides Daredevil. And it seems like they're going to be focusing on the movies again. Which, like, good! Good! I'm not gonna say that Disney Plus shows straight up ruined the MCU, but, like, well, they played a helping hand. It was awesome at first. Up until, like... oh, let me think. Like, the hype was really there. When WandaVision came out, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, What If Season 1. Like, the hype was there for all of them. I think... what came out next? Was it Hawkeye or was it Moon Knight? I forget, but those ones were pretty good. But then the projects just got shittier and shittier. Miss Marvel wasn't bad. I enjoyed it, but it was nothing special. We hit the opposite of peak when it came to She-Hulk. Agatha all along, aside from a couple woke moments, honestly was not that bad. Like, it actually would have been really good had they removed all the woke bullshit. Ironheart, yeah, it wasn't as anti-peak as She-Hulk was, but it was pretty close. Still a heaping pile of trash. Literally only the only good thing that came out of Ironheart was the casting of Sacha Baron Cohen's. Or is it Cohen? Whoops. What's his last name again? Anyways, him being casted as Mephisto. That was the only good thing that came out of Ironheart. Everything else about the show was irredeemable filth. Oh yeah, Secret Invasion 2. That sucked. You know, I heard this idea online as well. Retcon all of the shitty projects on Disney Plus, and only the shitty projects, to take place on a separate Earth. A separate Earth that will be destroyed during Doomsday. So the events of Secret Invasion, the events of She-Hulk, Ironheart, they didn't take place in our main MCU. No, they took place in a parallel world. And that Earth is being destroyed. It'll retcon them and still canonize them. In a way, it's like, it's not a horrible idea. Anyway, so I don't hate this idea. In fact, I'm actually for it. For Marvel to completely abandon Disney Plus and making shows, and solely focus on movies again, with a handful of exceptions, like Daredevil. I think Daredevil's the only exception live action. Animation side, we have Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man and X-Men 97. So, I don't hate this idea. In fact, I'm kind of in favor of it. For Disney to just say, Marvel, screw Disney Plus, just focus on the films again. I'm actually for it. I like this idea. Sure, we don't get bangers like Loki, but we also don't get stinkers like She-Hulk, Ironheart, Echo, Secret Invasion. You know, it's like for every one good TV show like Loki, there's like 5 bad other shows. So yeah, I'm not opposed to this idea. For Disney and Marvel to just completely, for the most part, abandon Disney Plus and making shows, I'm not against this idea. Man, I gotta get up early for work tomorrow, and for the first time, I gotta drive my dad's beast of a car to work. Won't that be fun? I swear to God, I'm gonna get into some accident, and I'm gonna wreck my dad's brand new car. Ugh. Okay, 3. I was gonna see if the 4th one was gonna run, but nope, so 3. Anything else about Spider-Man I should mention before I forget? Okay, that was 3, and then another 3. So let's see if there are 3 more to get, because I caught 1. So 1, 4, 7. God damn it! Why does it never work? Oh, also, I did look up what kind of Mime Jr. and Mr. Rime merch there is. Not a whole lot. In fact, the only merch that's really out there are plushes. There's not even a whole lot of figurines and, like, minifigures and statues of these two. It's like, damn. Like, I'm trying to find some Mime Jr. and Mr. Rime merch to buy. It's just like, there's nothing out there. You know, it's not like I'm looking up Charizard or Greninja merch, which, of course, there is an abundance of. When it comes to these two, it's like, yeah, there's really not that much out there. Okay, I'll count that as 3. I need another 3 of you gone. Perfect. Now, please work. I need 3 remaining to catch. Damn everything in this world. Ah, you saw the post I just sent you, huh? Did a lot of talking tonight. Need to drink water. You know, if the apocalypse ever happens, we are screwed. We take for granted easy access to tap water all the time. If the apocalypse ever happens, we as humans are gonna drop like flies. You know, a part of me is afraid the apocalypse will happen in the near future. I'm not predicting it will, but you never know, right? You never know if some disease or virus will spread rapidly again out of nowhere. I'm scared of this because of my sister's pregnancy, right? It's like, oh shit. If something were to happen to the world now, that is going to be so much harder to deal with. Like, if you think about it, in the Walking Dead universe, nobody expected the wildfire virus to happen. People had pregnancies, people were planning families and lives. And then it abruptly just happened, destroying society. I'm afraid of something like that happening in real life, where abruptly something happens and all of humanity is pretty much destroyed. And now, of all times, when this, of all things, is happening. That's what I'm afraid of. I'm going to assume that was 3. I'm about to call it for tonight. I do need to go to... I do need to go to sleep and get up early for work tomorrow. Damn, it just doesn't work. I need 3 to be remaining here. Will my balls stop love tapping these things and just catch them? Well, nothing here. I'm gonna call it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. See you next time. I will probably have Dead City to talk about next time. Bye.